he maintains he built it around this idea of enlightened hospitality.
So, Lockie, tell us what hospitality means. What is hospitality?
So, well, I think it's easiest to kind of frame it up the way Danny does and just steal his words.
Great. There's no better way.
Because, hey, let's not reinvent things here. And he compares service to hospitality. So he believes that basically he says that hospitality is the foundation of my business philosophy. Virtually nothing else is as important as how one is made to feel in any business transaction. So he feels that this whole idea of hospitality, as distinct to service, is the foundation of his business success. And there's so many examples of this, but to kind of frame it up, service is he says, is the technical delivery of the product. Hospitality is how the delivery of that product makes its recipient feel. Service is a monologue. We decide how we want to do things and set our own standards for service. But hospitality, on the other hand, is a dialogue. To be on the guest's side requires listening to that person with every sense and following up with the thoughtful, gracious, and appropriate response. So, I think we've all heard this kind of idea of, treat the customer well and all this kind of thing. But his philosophy is so much deeper than that and so effective. And it's based off a lot of deep kind of business philosophy. Again, is probably the right word as well. And the strategy is as follows. Any business provides a service or a product or whatever. And most, let's just use the word service. Most businesses kind of, their ego tells them that their service is special, it's different, it's very unique. And it is probably different. It's not that different, So great service is just delivering to spec almost, Have you met the customer's needs? That other people can do that. So if you're competing just on that, you're in trouble, because it's effectively a commodity.
But can I just interject, mate? So
get in there.
It's interesting how we define spec in this case, right? Because I think it's really important to emphasize that service for Danny also doesn't just mean you want a burger, we'll give you a burger. It's got a bun, and it's got a meat patty, and it's got some cheese and the sauce. No, it's an exceptional level of service. So the spec coming in the door has high quality, aligned with what it is that the business is trying to do, or the owner is trying to embody within their product or service.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to highlight, because even just to get a ticket to play, or just a ticket in the door into this philosophy, that is required.
That's true. It's not just like, very, very good point. It's like ticket to entry is amazing quality, first of all.
Yeah.
But his thing is, you raise the bar higher by employing this idea of enlightened hospitality. And the enlightened hospitality then means that that's something other people just can't copy, because that's the soul, that's the personality, that's the care, that's the trust. That's all those things that make a connection with you and a business, the customer and the business. And there's a lot of different ways that can be created.
Have you ever been to a fancy restaurant, mate?
I have, yes. Unfortunately.
Yeah. I've been to, I'm not going to point any names, but I've been to fancy restaurants in the past, right? And
no names, please.
No names. I won't be allowed back.
What, are you worried they're listening? Like, what's the problem here? Come on. Oh, okay. Sorry, the flower drum's listening here. We can't.
So
we let back in.
I can't actually think of any specific names. So
no,
actually.
So the next, your next career is definitely politics.
I've got one, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I've got one.
All right. I can't recall.
Arpège in Paris.
Okay.
So I think this was the height of this, and overly fancy, overly whatever. And so you go in there and you're expecting this exceptional service and all these things, but it just feels stale. You've hit like it feels like you've walked into like a hospital to some degree. Now it wasn't like
clinical.
It's clinical, and so what those guys have done is they've they've arguably nailed the technical aspect, but they've lost the soul. And you go into a trattoria in Italy, or you go into a local pub back in Australia, and you have a better experience going there. And if you go to a one that prides itself on particularly on their food or their drink or whatever, you will have arguably just as tasty meal, just as good a meal. It might not have the fancy creams and sauces and things that you didn't know could be cooked all over it, but the soul is there, and there's a lot more speaking to it, and so I think this is the important aspect here.
Yeah,
I can't think of any in Melbourne. Any specific examples? Have you got any examples? Seeing as you forced me to call one out.
Well, that's what we try to do here. I mean, I felt like going to a couple of Neil Perry's restaurants.
Spot on.
It's a little bit canned,
Rock pool. That's an example of
it's
that.
like you're going there so people can kind of see you there, and you got to kind of pretend you really liked it, even though it was only just a bit better. I don't know. It just doesn't feel. It doesn't feel like anything.
South Bank in Melbourne. That's that. Yeah. I'm just gonna make a blanket statement across that.
Yeah. I went to Cutler & Co. in Melbourne, and I didn't feel that way. I felt very differently about that. They were very personal, and I felt like
I agree with that.
I wasn't like not supposed to be there. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, it didn't feel like that level of pretentious that this is for someone else sort of thing. Someone better than me.
I think, yeah. For me, that place definitely speaks to what this philosophy is, and it has a partner, or a partner restaurant, I guess you call it, or another part of the franchise right next door at Marriott, which is like a little bit more of a lo-fi version of that, and that's also cool. An exceptional, cool venue.